a nail-biter, but the NYXL just emerged victorious over the Houston Outlaws with the 3-2 victory. And I gotta say, man, we had a lot of close games today. That's 2 5-mappers in a row. Twitch Day has definitely been treating us well thus far. Speaking of Twitch Day, you see all the purple shirts around here. I gotta give another special thanks to Twitch for providing everyone here at the Blizzard Arena with free t-shirts. And if you at home are watching and you want some Twitch swag, make sure you hit up Amazon.com/Twitch merch and get yourself decked out in purple too. All right, now for our final match of the week, we have the Florida Mayhem going up against the Boston Uprising. The Boston Uprising have been red hot lately, and they're coming off of a tough upset of the NYXL earlier this week. And the Florida Mayhem, they're looking to get the ball rolling so far this stage and integrating their new guys, Awesome Guy and Sire Player, into their lineup. So this is definitely gonna be a great match. Yo, Blizzard Arena, y'all ready for the final match of the night? Yeah? Alrighty then, well, let's go ahead and get ourselves situated for this one with the boys at the desk. Take it away, Puckett.
Thank you so much, Malik. Shout out to everyone wearing purple, especially the guy who's putting it on as we got the camera to him. We got Puckett here on the desk with Brent and Crumbs, and we're closing it out with the squad. I said they were the #1 seed in Stage 3. Not true. That's because the Valiant are sitting at 4-0, but let's look at our Stage 3 standings, because Boston is the story of the stage. They took down New York XL. They're sitting at 3-0. They've gone to Game 5 both times, but they got wins over Philly and New York.
Yeah, super impressive, right? The Boston, the fact that they're doing it as well with a recent addition with mistakes coming in full time now, I think it's honestly a testament. Again, this team is looking fantastic. You cannot sleep on them in the slightest anymore.
And Crumbs, we got to jump into this with that matchup against New York. This is the strongest we've seen Boston on a day that we were so worried for the team. They made major change-ups in their roster, brought in mistakes, and they somehow kind of shocked the world and took out our #1 team, handed them their 3rd loss of the entire season.
Absolutely. Not only taking other teams' catchphrases, but also their records. By taking down New York, they're able to solidify themselves as a top team in the league. When I look at this team now, I'm looking at them with the same eyes. I see New York, I'm looking at London, I'm looking at everybody else near the top. It's already been enough, and they're so disciplined that their style, when it matches up against Florida, it's just not good for Florida. It's been 2-4-0 so far.
I won't disagree with that one, to be honest. I mean, Florida as a team, I will say that we can't realistically sleep on Florida as well as a team, because they are looking like an entirely different beast altogether. You've got the introduction of Sire Player and Awesome Guy coming into the mix has completely revitalized this squad when they were not having a great time at the start of this season. You know, this is a squad that was having a lot of troubles adapting to the Mercy metagame, and now they're looking to try and mount back a bit of a comeback as we're heading into Stage 3. You know, they're starting to play a bit more these dive compositions. They've got solid pickups that they can build around and really start to get some wins.
And if you look at Florida's strength of schedule, it's basically been the hardest. Look at who they've run up against. Their first match, it was 0-4 to New York XL. Then you play Philly, and then you play London. Not an easy start for Florida. And their 4th match doesn't get any easier today, because you're playing the Boston Uprising, and their star Tracer player, Striker, has been on fire recently. But he's shown us more than just the Tracer. Some Junkrat's been coming out. This man is truly evolving in the DPS role.
Absolutely, and in my mind, I would actually pin Striker right now, currently, as the best Tracer in the Overwatch League. And yeah, I'm straight up going there. I genuinely rate him this highly, because the man, in my mind, at a certain point, it was Sabiobi who was the best Tracer in the game, but he completely put him in check when Boston was playing against New York. And Striker, as his gameplay, you can really just rely on him almost entirely as a constant player to be playing always at 100%.
I'll actually give you a caveat on that best Tracer in the league, because I feel like the Tracers are such a high level. It's more like one of these horse races where every once in a while somebody inches away and looks like the best Tracer for a week, and then they go back and somebody else takes a spot. So yeah, for this week, I think you could say that Striker is the best.
Bless you. Thank you for agreeing with me.
I like that you guys are backing each other up. It's a happy Saturday here at the Blizzard Arena. Let's get into the action here, guys. First official predictions. Boston's the favorite coming in, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Boston for this one. It's realistically, everything we've outlined, it seems like it's their match.
It's been 2-4-0 so far, and each one has progressively gotten better for Boston, and they don't seem to be slowing down. So it's going to be, I think, closer than a 4-0 this time, but I still think Boston should have the advantage coming into this one.
All right, it's time to close out week 2 here in Stage 3. Make some noise as we bring out our team, starting with the squad from Florida. Please give it up for the Mayhem. Vic, the bus driver, leading the charge, but Manitin is the man to watch today. His family over from Sweden. Those happy yellow mustaches out in the crowd. Everyone wants to see Tim get a big win.
I will say, I literally saw him driving the bus, so he has to not only take the team physically there, but also physically get them the win. So this guy's performing double duty, and that's just going to make this time of his life that much more memorable.
And Bren, we didn't see Swoosh, we didn't see Logix for the Florida Mayhem in their last match. Today, it looks like the starting lineup again is going to feature Saya player on DPS, an awesome guy on that main tank.
Yeah, no complaints from me. I feel like this is probably one of the strongest that Florida's looked in quite some time. And one thing I really like, I mean, whilst we're on the topic of this young man here, Manitin, I feel like they've really enabled him to play his best. Like, Manitin was always underrated. He slipped under the radar by quite a few number of people, but he's always been consistent, like, across the board. And that's really what you want most out of your diva player, out of your off-tank player, is consistent results. Because if you got someone who's a bit wish-washy, again, you're not going to be able to build a team around them. That's what we're looking at here today.
If you go back and watch his last performance on Volskaya, amazing performance by Manitin there on Diva. This is a look at your starting six for the Florida Mayhem. Who's got the most pressure today, Crumbs?
I think it has to be Zupa and Zebasai. The support lineup from Florida, I think, is the part that needs to improve a little bit more when it comes to their ultimate usage, staggering their ultimates and using them in incorrect situations. If they can fix that, they'll be really good.
Florida just 4-19, looking for their 5th win today against a squad that already has 15 match wins in their column. Please give it up for the Boston Uprising. Kellix, the Dane, the support player leading the charge. That man right there on your screen, that is Note Mama coming down from Toronto to cheer him on. She was the good luck charm against Boston. I think she's what got him the win, Bren, not their performance.
Against New York, you should say.
Excuse me, yeah, Boston against New York. Appreciate you.
I'll let you off the hook this one time. You've been so good to us all year round. But right now, I mean, both Boston being the focus here. And, like, what have we not said about these guys? These guys play unreal. You cannot sleep on them any longer because of how well they play. Crumbs, you said it yourself. You consider this to be one of the top teams at the moment. And it's a completely fair point to make. I don't think anyone can make an argument against them right now, especially with the trials and tribulations they've been through recently. The fact that they've recently added in mistakes again, had to essentially relearn how to play around with mistakes, and they're still performing well.
Sufficient things have happened in the league. Losing the player, new meta, having to adapt to a meta that they hadn't played against before, which every other team has, and still coming out on top, perfecting dives, being so disciplined. So much opposition has been thrown against the Uprising, and they've come out triumphant every single time.
Boston's performance so far has been clinical. Today, I want to see, are they bringing their absolute A game against the Florida Mayhem, who's been struggling, or do they let off the gas? You can't give up any maps if you want to chase for that #1 seed. We got our 12 players on the stage. The match is ready. Blizzard Arena, are you guys ready to get this one started? Here we go, your casters for the final match of the week. It's Semler and Hex.
Thank you, Puckett. Are we ready to get this started, Hex? I don't know. You know, it's like Puckett's throwing it in there. He's asking the crowd. Crowd, don't, they just have to sit and enjoy.
No one cares. No one cares if we're ready at all. We're going to be here anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, get in that room. Go talk about the game. It's all right.
All right, welcome, everybody. Yes, the last match of the week here. It is going to be Florida Mayhem versus the Boston Uprising. Do you agree with what was said on the desk? That's Boston Uprising is kind of their game to lose.
It kind of has to be right now, especially map scores. They're undefeated on Anubis. I think if any chance exists for Florida to come into this, they're going to have to win Blizzard World. Boston also very good at Nepal. Then maybe you can cheese out Junkertown, and who knows what happens on Oasis there. I think their best chance is try to ride their sniper player. It's been Saya player who's been absolutely crushing it for this team. It's a little too bad there's no Route 66 because he said monstrous performances there. But there have been some changes made in this Boston roster that maybe the level of Widow play isn't what it used to be. Maybe try to exploit that, force them into playing your game if you're Florida, and let Saya try to carry you.
Well, it's looking like they'll get something along those lines. It's Boston Uprising right now on the defense. But as the home team, they'll have mistakes on Widow to start.
Yeah, they like playing Junkrat Widow here, which has been meta on Anubis. What they do is generally on the low ground here. Gamsu's going to go there. And even if they get in trouble with that Widowmaker, they will often drop that Widowmaker down behind the Orisa as well. So they're very clumped up there. Now, if Florida can see this and take advantage of it, maybe running a Sombra into this, a Sombra Tracer could be a decent idea as well. Because especially, I mean, when you have a Widow trying to go into a team with an Orisa, you kind of just have to switch and go into full dive, and we'll see how that works out. Tavik has a decent Genji, Saya can play a good Tracer, and you know, Tavik also has the Sombra in his pool.
Yeah, exactly right. There is some depth here. Tavik really is going to be one of those all-around sort of players that can really make everything work. We've got the half horse, the Shetland in play here with Mistakes on the high ground, and there you go. Oh, instant death. Doesn't matter if you got a barrier, he'll still take your head off. Mistakes will get rezzed up by Kelix's Minder, but that is going to force him to change positions, it looks like.
He doesn't have a barrier. He was behind it, but then he went up top, and then he got exploited over top. But Gamsu is able to take down Saya with a long-range Orisa snipe of all things there, so they're going to have to reset this one. Be interesting to see if Saya sticks on this one. It's very possible if Mistakes goes back up to that high ground, you can see that grapple shot again, but I think Mistakes is not going to live up to his namesake and make that same one twice, so likely going to sit behind this barrier.
Oh, nicely done. There's the halt. Mistakes attempting a shot. As much damage getting pumped in there as possible on Awesome Guy. And Awesome Guy getting forced to chase. Well, he's going to have to give ground. They're going for the reset again. Losing that Manitin mech is going to slow things down. And well, Mistakes is being very kind, allowing for Manitin to go back to spawn that quickly. Never mind, we'll just get rezzed.
It's a nice little escort there. What they're trying to do is dive on this composition so that Mistakes has to leave. You saw he was the primary target of that Winston on the leap in, so Mistakes gets around that shield, and then you have to capitalize on it with Saya player to get over the top and hit that shot. They are sticking with this right now. The dive comes in again. Striker's going to try to respond to the tire.
Whoa, and the bubble just barely catches that. Awesome Guy going to be counting his lucky stars. He's still in this. Tavik dropping dangerously low. It's looking like he'll be able to get topped up again, however. But we've lost Awesome Guy. Striker, it's like you're trying to focus Mistakes, but you still have to worry about this Junkrat just pummeling you.
Well, Mistakes had infosight, so he knows where the other Widow is, but not exactly where he is. Saya punishes that. They will take down the Supercharger as well. Resurrection onto Mistakes as Tavik gets punished by Note.
That was a big kill right there. It would have been potentially possible. Awesome Guy is now back into this between Manitin and Awesome Guy. They could have maybe followed up with Tavik, but him dying pretty much sets him back to 0 here for Florida Mayhem. Past the 2-minute mark.
They've got a blade now for Tavik. They've actually banked up a couple of decent ultimates. Manitin can self-destruct, but oh, a huge kill in the back onto Zebosai. Awesome Guy will fall soon after. This 4v6 is now the time you want to start busting out ultimates. In fact, it's time to head back to spawn. Boston is happy to oblige them.
Yeah, look at that. Tavik was literally just running into him like, kill me now! Kill me right now, please!
Yes, kill me!
Then all right, reference.
I thought you were going for it.
Yeah,
I thought that was exactly
the chopper had already
anger.
left. All right, but it is going to be the reset here yet again. Minute 20 on the clock here for Florida. We got 2 ultimates online for Boston. We'll soon have another Riptire here for Striker. He's been really quick at generating these.
Yeah, one of the issues is that they don't have support ultimates to go with. They're going to try to crack this open in the self over the top. Neko down. That's going to put Kelix in a position to go res him. They should be camping this. Tavik a little bit too late. His target, first of all, was the Orisa, and that tire ends this push immediately. They did get a support ultimate out at the very least, but it's time to reset again, very likely.
There's a value tire if ever there was one. You take Tavik, you get Zebo as well, and well, now you're gonna have side player under pressure here. Note gonna be able to take a little bit of a pot shot, has to be careful, but he will get topped up once again here by Kelix. Kind of gives away Kelix's position, but I guess that was obvious.
Florida's working their way to both support ultimates. Meanwhile, Kelix just getting to his Valk as well. We'll see if one of these snipers can clip Wings of Mercy. It doesn't even get it off. Zebo 98% on that Valk when he was sniped.
Oh, and now he's got Saya as well. There we go. For those of you doubting Mistakes. What? Yeah, buddy. 3 quick kills. Pretty much snuffs it for Florida Mayhem. Zebasine, he's back in the fight, but he's got nobody to heal. Awesome Guy's crouching in the back, hoping that they don't notice him.
I think a lot of people knew that Mistakes is a very good tracer. That's how he came up in Overwatch. He's also played a good amount of Sombra, but I think people assumed, perhaps wrongly so, that they were getting a downgrade in their Widowmaker play. They might have accidentally stumbled into an upgrade here. That was an insane set of shots.
That's as clean as it gets. That's exactly what you're hoping for, especially going up against a specialist in the shape of Saya. But a solid defense there. Boston really showing nothing to the Florida Mayhem. It's on the Florida Mayhem now to come up with something big.
It's one of the reasons that they're undefeated on this map so far. Their defense on first has been so good. It always puts team in an awkward moment going into second. And Striker just... I don't think Striker died that whole match. Maybe once or twice. Yeah, once. He's just sitting back, chunking away over the top. Blind damage, blind fire, getting tire after tire in there.
Looking pretty quiet over there.
There's not much to be happy about there. He just got full held on Anubis, 0%, and it's looking to be a very quick first map for the Boston Uprising, unless we see the defense of a century from Florida.
Man on your screen right now, Zebasai, shot caller here for Florida Mayhem. He's going to have to come up with something big in terms of rallying the troops, getting that spirit going here for the team. They need to believe that they can get this hold. They are desperately relying on it now not to go down 0-1 in this series at the beginning of it. Boston Uprising, Kellick's totally going to be running that Torb. For sure. Have you never heard of offensive? Why are you shaking your head at me?
Huh? No, I think it's totally viable. Probably totally going to run that Torb.
Dude.
It'd be the ultimate disrespect play.
Aggro turrets.
Just come out with like a sim and a Torb and still take first. Just let Striker and Mistakes go wild on it anyway.
Dude, you never heard of the offensive teleport? You know, you put it in the back of point A in that little room. There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Never mind. Awesome guy is about as impressed with this analysis as you are and everybody else on the stream.
I was like, yeah, cool story. Yes, great story, Semler. Really appreciate it. Like, they're in trouble here. They're going to have to get a lot of picks early and just rely on that. 4 minutes, only 33% needed for the Boston Uprising to take Anubis. So far, Florida is 1 in 4 on this map. I don't believe they've even played it in Stage 3, so I'm not sure how practiced they are on it. It was a Stage 1 map, of course, rotated out Stage 2. Now it's back, first time in it, and we'll see how their defense is going to fare. But really, Boston could just sit and bank ults. That is a nice pick. They're going to have to wait on that.
The grenades just hunting them down. And that was a moment where, you know, you blink, you miss them. Striker just dashing in, managing to evade the Widow. Guess you can't evade all the grenades. They're just constantly getting lobbed into your face.
Yeah, and the halt also really helps too. You start spamming that one area and then you halt them all into it. Here comes the dive in. Everyone's a little uncoordinated here as the dive is not super coordinated, but it seems like they kind of faked out. They were in and now they're out just trying to pressure them down. Awesome guy with a nice kill on the Gamsu. This is not quite over yet. They can still try to contest with this, especially with that res.
Yeah, that res, that makes a big difference. Now Gamsu's back to full HP. It's going to be no throwing himself in here. Still hanging on to that mech somehow. Zebasai dead yet again the first time. There's Tvik with the tire though. Eliminates Striker. That's a big threat, but Mistakes is there to trade it. Maybe a situation now where they can ride this out here. Boston, it's on Mistakes, but he's not going to survive. Still 4 players alive here for Boston. Both of the tanks and both of the supports.
Really nice peel there by Manitin to come back and help out over the top to make sure that that Genji doesn't get a reset through that dash kill. And now they do bail out. Still kind of like a halfway retreat. They're still milling about the bridge, trying to set things up, waiting for Mistakes to get back into this.
Yeah, they figured out that no D-Max.
Yeah.
He's hiding over there. That's what you get with the Widow. The Widow Infocyte.
So now they're just sitting up here. I don't know if Florida generally wants to try to contest this because you don't want to lose someone and even up the fight. You're just sitting 6v5. You know exactly where they are and you're having eyes on all escape or entry routes.
Here we go. Preemptive Valk getting thrown in here by Kelix. Gets tagged to the body. Mistakes is gone yet again. Tvik blowing a player up. Going to be difficult for Kelix. Now you got to pick which one are you going to res. But then you got Gamsu coming into the mix. 2 kills of his own. Bringing it back Boston's way. Although, as I say, that Saya player and Zebasai, well, Saya player mainly making the difference.
Transcend in the corner, but it's just both supports. Where's any of the damage going to come from? The Winston's not going to be able to output that damage either. They are trying to back out now, waiting for reinforcements to come in here, but they're stuck in a hallway with a 2-ton mech. Not much you can do about that situation.
Kelix lobbing himself in there, going for that hard reset as quick as possible. What do they have in terms of ults now to get online? Both support ults have been used for both of these teams, so there is that to consider here. Now it's really going to come down to these offensive ults, and while you've got the Genji with the Dragon Blade, that's a fight ender right there.
It's a really interesting moment because Mistakes has not played a whole lot of Genji so far in the Overwatch League. Maybe it's something he's been grinding, adding to their pool, because Boston's style has been since the beginning of the Overwatch League to run a dive on a lot of these different maps, and he can't do so without a Genji. We'll see how that is. He's generally been a hit scan player early on, but maybe adding it in.
Now that was a brave move there without the reflect to go into an angle that Saya can peek. Saya getting put on notice. We got Tvik chucking the tire in there. Nothing to protect Kelix, unfortunately for him. None of that burst, but here we go. Mistakes with the blade out. Finds the 1 kill. There's the second. Could be making the difference here for his team as they've spotted out the Zen as well. Stuck in the corner. Nowhere for Zupe to go, and Gamsu will stomp him.
And now they have to just rush this point, and they've lost way too many. Gamsu in on the cleanup here. It is all up to Manitin, but he doesn't have a very large life bar, even though he's got 2 of them. And Boston will eventually crack it. A very nice blade there. Target target selection on point for mistakes to take down the enemy DPS, but more importantly, taking down the Mercy. You don't want to allow a Resurrection to come through and undo all of your good work. Boston, in short order, takes a 1-0 lead.
Fantastic stuff. Completely expected, but we will see if Florida Mayhem will be able to turn it around. I mean, Saya player was certainly hitting shots. It's going to come down to the coordination. Florida, they have a few minutes now to talk it over and figure it out for the map that's coming up after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
What's up, everybody? Malik here for Access Granted. I'm getting ready to pick up Tavik and his teammate Manatee from the Florida Mayhem and see what they've been up to.
It seemed like a lot of people kind of remembered you guys more so for the fact that you would come out with these, super entertaining entrances, right? Why'd you stop dancing? I gotta know.
People are under the assumption that we decided to skip practice and basically started taking dance classes instead. Well, in reality, all it took us was about 1 minute right before we were about to go out, and we said, well, this sounds fun. Coordination when it comes to the real life, I mean, it's a little bit different compared to the game, at least.
Oh man, such fun times rolling around the streets of California with those guys. And friendly reminder to everybody out there, we're actually gonna be doing another AMA at the end of the day with their teammate, Zappis. So make sure you stick around after the matches are over if you wanna get in on that Q&A session. But Boston, they have jumped out to a quick 1-0 lead. So let's go ahead and get back into the action with our casters, Simler and Hex.
Thank you, Malik. And yeah, definitely want to hear what Zappis has to say. I mean, view from the bench has got to be pretty good. Oh man, that's brutal. I don't even know why I went that deep, but hey, it's a tough thing for Zappis. He comes in, he plays one game, and they're like, right, you're not able to really fit in here. You're messing with this thing that's finally working. And I was just talking about this going into the break. Same thing. It feels like Florida, they were making some progress, but then back to square one again?
You don't beat Boston on assault maps.
All right, fair enough. There is that. There is that, but it's still looking touch and go here for Florida. A bit of a tough break for him.
Yeah, we'll see. That was a smart guy. I'm sure he's doing player coaching stuff as well. Came in, and they only just threw him in the mix of like, hey, wait.
Brendan, we see you, dude. Don't worry, we're paying attention to you, bro.
How could you miss that shot? And so they threw him in on Hollywood because they're like, we don't know what to do. Zappis, get in there and figure it out. And like that didn't work. So maybe he'll get some playing time in the future as they go forward. I think this is almost a must-win map if Florida has any chance at going through here, because they don't want to go down here and then go to Control, which Boston has been very strong in as well. And it is Blizzard World, and it's kind of a new map for a lot of people. One of the metas on this map is running a Sombra Tracer, and Florida definitely has the players who can do that. You can run Sombra Widow, Tracer Widow as well, so they can definitely run what they want to run or what they've run on here before. On the other side, though, being a Sombra and Tracer map bodes very well for Boston, who happen to have very good Sombra and Tracers as well.
There's a man who makes very few mistakes, despite the fact that he is named mistakes. He happens to be a good Sombra player.
There's also a guy who last week put NYXL in their place on Tracer, which is no easy task. And Bren's trying to sell it to me that Striker's the best Tracer in the league, and I said, let's give it a couple more games.
Listen,
look, Striker's definitely in the conversation, but let's give it a couple more games before we anoint him above some of the guys who've been doing it for a long, long time.
Bren was doing a better job of selling me the idea that he is now the wacky waving inflatable arm man there than Striker. You see? Hey.
Halloween has to be that. I will be so disappointed. Actually, just come tomorrow wearing that. Next week, next Thursday, put it on Twitter. If Bren gets 200 followers, he will be wacky waveable inflatable arm too, man. I guarantee he'll do it. He will do anything for follows.
Anything. Right, we're going for the wrap now, Florida. We saw this earlier, actually. Seems like one of the go-to strategies now for some of these teams. You get the mad wrap. The one thing here is that they're moving all together as a group, whereas we saw Spitfire, they left Prophet alone. And I actually just thought that Side player got knocked off the side, but they left Prophet alone to sandwich. And instead here, Boston, there's nothing really punching him in the back.
Yeah, the offense comes in here, and it does make sure that there's no sneaky shenanigans up top on the high ground, and it forces the defense in a really odd position. They're absolutely cleaning it up.
Wow, it's still super effective. Even without the Tracer and the backstab, they just ran right into Boston. It doesn't look like Boston had any way to deal with that.
Florida uses flank. It is super effective. They get the 2 ticks, and this should be just about it. Zupe's been playing a lot of Moira lately, not only on Blizzard World, but when we get to Control, he's been playing it on nearly every stage of Ilio, so he's getting very comfortable on that hero, and I think Zevo's hero is better on Lucio as well, so they're going back to their comfort picks right now. Tvik, very capable on the Genji, and allows Saya to play hit scan.
That was spicy. That's solid dink. Vic making his way through. He's nearly got that blade. That's going to be a feel-good moment for him when he gets to whip that out and start dicing people up. Saya player, though, still looking for an opening as that cart takes its sweet, sweet time getting in here. We will have the pulse thrown in by Saya. He gets nothing out of it. Instead of Strikers like here, hold on, let me show you how it's done real quick, Saya. Zupe and Saya dead.
Yeah, and a hacked Genji is just scrap metal in human form. He's on the ground right there. I will agree, Striker has probably been the most consistent when it comes to hitting pulse bombs. He sticks people constantly with it. It is absolutely nutty. Mistakes with a late hack there. They're going to have EMP for this next one as well. So even though they gave up first in really easy fashion, they're in a decent position to continue holding this second. Here comes a Blade, though.
Yeah, here goes a Blade. Saya going to get in. He's dead already, though. Tvik not really going to get too much value out of this. Did he even force? Yes, okay, he did manage to get the Nako. Well, Nako's trance was used and Kelix the wings, but Gamsu, just tasing him all to death.
Gamsu is a ridiculously good tank, often overlooked because we have so many good Winstons in the Overwatch League, but what he does, he's that quiet storm that you're expecting all of these DPS players in Boston. Then Gamsu comes in, he's just always in the correct position, finishing off a lot of these kills. He knows where to be when his DPS want to attack.
The nice thing about it, well, it became pretty evident when he had that week off Boston just tanked. All of a sudden, Gamsu's back. Hey, they're winning again. You know, he is such a high impact player for this team.
Well, speaking of new main tanks, Awesome Guy in here takes down Nako very on. Awesome Guy, one of the best names in Overwatch League, rivaled only by Cool Matt. There's so much hubris in these names.
It is pretty good.
Striker with a late kill onto Tvik, so they've gotten a little bit of progress. Nothing really decisive so far. They're going to drop the beat. Catches most everyone on Florida. They're going to try to continue to push off of this.
That's a tough one. Can't really go through that coalition. Striker long range, demonstrating, hey, no problem with great aim. You can get kills on monkeys, even if they are halfway across the map.
Continued pusher, constant pressure on the cart. Striker trying to just back them away. Doesn't want to have to use the bomb because he feels the fight is over, and Nako puts the exclamation point on it. That fight is over. This has become one of the harder chokes for teams to break. When the cart gets to this point, oftentimes teams have to start committing a lot of ultimates, coming at different angles, putting some back cap pressure on it because there's such a defender's advantage with all of this free high ground.
Yeah, exactly, taking that high ground as well as one of them, or at least forcing the defenders off of the high ground. Doesn't really seem like that's going to be part of the game plan here for Florida. However, they're wrapping their way through the lower hallway, stopping up to get a tasty beverage, maybe something to nibble on. Mistakes. He's got eyes in the back of his head, though. He's not going to get outflanked. One thing, though, is he's going to be looking for that high-value EMP, and we'll see if he can get it. He's playing very safe right now.
Yeah, has to just go back and get away. He was very low health, so goes to his healers. That's a big EMP. Catches a lot of them there. That's at least 4 people hacked, and they are on the cleanup now. There is no escaping that Mistakes EMP. Very nice, super patient. A lot of people would have forced it when he got low health in a rough situation, said, guys, I'm EMPing, he'll probably die right after, but he waits for it, maximum value on that EMP.
Tvik had ideas about killing Kelix. Kelix thought otherwise. He was not amused by that. He actually called Note back to take care of him. So we will have the reset coming in again here for Florida. We're getting to 1:30 on the clock now for Florida Mayhem to get the job done and push it to the second point.
Little
couple ults to work
miscommunication.
with at least. They have the Dragon Blade now on Tvik and Zupe, of course, on Moira. He's got the Coalescence.
Well, Awesome Guy just used Primal Rage and did absolutely nothing with it. They're going to have to wait for Blade to get in here. Coalescence and Blade can work together if your support can track you as you go through it. They're going to hold on to the Blade so far, just trying to get Note out of Demek. That exactly happens right there. Gamsu's still an issue, though.
Gamsu still, I mean, look at this Gamsu. They just cannot seem to deal with him. Knocking them all over the place. They're going to go for the hard dive into the back line here. Florida Mayhem looks like that's the game plan, but they're going to get picked off one after another as they try to make their mistake. Manaton ejected, not even going to be allowed to die on his own terms. Striker takes that choice away from him.
Gamsu just leaping all over the place, creating problems. It's trying to pin down a cloud. It's not going to happen for you. Mistakes has worked his way up to another EMP. The only bright spot there for Florida is that they did force out both of the support ultimates. You see Nako and Kelix both at minimal percentages here, so they're going to really have to ride this EMP. If Florida knows this timing, they should be spread out as much as possible here to avoid this. EMP comes down again.
Monster. They're all grouped up. They are all grouped up for it, but Tvik did manage to get the Blade out before the EMP went off, and so he is able to hack off Mistakes' head. Manaton gets deep next, though, and Striker's still around here, ready to just take the fight to him. With both of these tanks, they can still be a real issue here for Florida Mayhem. Nearly getting the one clip.
Another self-destruct comes into the back line. They try to deal with Moira, one of the harder targets to actually deal with, especially if she's with her other support. She does so much work to a Tracer, and they will simply walk it in. No, it is 0.17 away. Boston does not want to give this up. They've got bodies here and a respawn advantage, but Tvik will take down a few.
There's the bubble at the last second. Not going to be enough, though, and they will eventually ride it home. 2 points picked up for Florida Mayhem. 1.5 minutes left to push it all the way home towards the throne.
At 90 seconds, and it was really the penultimate fight that set that up, to be able to push into a Boston team with no support ultimates available. Of course, the swing back of that is that both support ults will be up for the next few fights. I believe that there's going to be a maximum 2 fights left on this map. You would like to only use 1 each time if you have the chance.
Get out. Tvik not having fun with that one. Unfortunately for him, no health pack either. Gonna have to rely on his healers to get that going. Awesome gets overwhelmed by Gamsu and Striker, and yet again, Florida Mayhem going to have to give ground as even the res comes through for Nako.
Yeah, sometimes it's just difficult to integrate a main tank into your team. A lot of the main tanks are calling initiations, and they're the ones who really decide when it's time to go and when it's time to leave. Awesome Guys so far, not necessarily fitting in 100% here. They do have one good crack at this, though, because they're going to have Barrier, Blade, and if all else fails, Primal Rage to buy a little bit of time.
Yeah, they will have quite a few ults to work with.
You want that barrier, though. You want that barrier. You know you only have 1 more push. There's no reason to go in without it. You're at 95%.
Just Let him farm it up. Yep, awesome guy. Dance around here until Zebo can get it. Nope, this awesome guy decides to throw himself in there. He's got the primal though, so that will help. But there's the EMP. And are they going to be able to piggyback off of this here, Florida Mayhem? Can they do enough damage quickly enough as Tvik gets picked?
There's the barrier though. He was hiding around, so he never really got EMP'd. He's able to get it off onto his team post-EMP, which is huge. But can they take advantage of it? Where's the damage coming through? And Gamsu has primal rage. He's knocking them all off the cart.
Yeah, you're not wall running anymore, Zebo. You're going to be on the ground, relegated. Neiko's there to clean him up. And it will be Tvik now with the Dragon Blade, but again gets overwhelmed, run over by Note. And it is the defense holding strong here for Boston Uprising. They're getting kill after kill. Florida Mayhem are losing speed, although they are keeping that focus on the payload. An extra couple meters gained for Manitin.
Yeah, that could be all the difference in the world. That is where the push will end, though. Sombra is so good at disrupting your plan. Oh, you want to come into the barrier and play? Well, you'll figure it out after you deal with this, because then you take 1 or 2 down, and you saw that Tvik was unable to pop it till the very end when it was kind of a desperation blade rather than this coordinated attack. All she does is just mess with your game plan constantly. He's like, oh, D.Va, dive in. I can't. I got hacked. I'm just a big chunk of coal right now.
This is where Carpe really shone earlier, where he was just constantly hacking. Even without the EMPs, he was finding those hack targets. I think he had 20 hacks across 2 maps, which is bonkers.
A mistake sitting at 25 enemies hacked right now, 11 enemies EMP'd. We talked to him before he was getting a lot of playing time. We said, hey, next meta, you know, Sombra's going to come in. Have you been grinding that? Because he's a former Tracer player. And we know, like, oh, the spread is tightening, and it's kind of some of the same skills translate a little bit. And he just smiled ear to ear that he knew Sombra was going to be his time to play for his team. Now he's forced into a much more prominent role. But hey, the stars align sometimes, and now he's in a more prominent role while Sombra is much more meta.
Yeah, everything really lining up for him. Highly motivated. Well, it is paying off. Now, Boston Uprising, they're in the lead in terms of maps. We'll see if they can pull it off here on the offense. Going into Blizzard World, 2 points picked up for Florida Mayhem and just barely squeaking it towards that 3rd point. And as far as the setup is concerned for Florida, we will have Tvik on the junk, Silent Player on the Tracer. Nothing really out of the ordinary here for Florida Mayhem.
Yeah, previously on Boston's offense on Blizzard World, they like to run full dive, of course, that being a Genji, Tracer, D.Va, and Winston going in. Now it seems like they want to opt and just let Mistakes continue to play the Sombra, a completely viable strategy. We've seen teams run on this map before. So Mistakes, I think that his hero pool is limited, that he's definitely a better Sombra than he is Genji, but who knows? He had an okay Genji when he got there after like 3 tries.
He is showing that he does have the deep Widow, Widow. He's got the deep hero pool, including Widow as well. That is an option. We'll see. Lots to play for here, as we will have the D-Matrix just ferrying along the rest of the team. And now that Boston Uprising have made it into the back hallways here, they can go on that long merry-go-round kind of route. Straight flank all the way into the back line. Ignore the choke point. Just ignore it. Go around it. It's fine.
Yeah, no reason. Might as well just take away the positioning here. This happens sometimes on maps where the offense has a good route. They'll just take away where the defense was, and now it just becomes the way teams push in, and you have to adjust to it.
No, very slow approach coming in from Boston. Now they're onto the point. We will have Awesome Guy kind of cheeking his way through, trying to at least contest, and Silent Player getting clipped by Note. That's not going to help. Don't think Note did it alone. Might have been Neiko there with the cheeky orb.
No, but he was down in the right position. He knew exactly where Silent Player was coming from, that he was trying that flank. That's why he backed up onto that point. A Transcendent trying to cap this one off as they bully around the corner here. A lot of progress. Desperation jump on for Manitin. It's going to buy them a little bit of time. They need kills, though.
They came super close. Who's going to be contesting it now? Kelix dying is a big deal. That is huge.
Absolutely monstrous. Meanwhile, Zebosai has also popped the wings at the same time, keeps everyone alive and healthy. Back to the drawing board for Boston. They did use their Transcendence onto the point. They will also have an EMP ready to go. Mistakes, if he hits less than 3 people on this EMP, I'll be surprised.
Especially considering his position right now. He's just waiting.
Waiting for the call for his team, and right now, Florida has no idea what's coming for him.
He's going to be able to walk all the way right up into the back line.
Very passive translocate, though. I would have liked to see him use that closer.
Yeesh.
Because now he's got to reset, and it's a long ways away. I thought he had plenty of safer places he could have dropped that down on.
Can he get in here? Can he find these targets? His tanks have gone charging in, and it's not looking like Mistakes is going to lead the way with the EMP to kick things off. Instead, it's the rest of his team moving on in. Nobody going to get picked up by Manitin's self-destruct, but he will go ahead and get that remet going. And now Mistakes. Does he decide to get it in here? Every time, Topika's got eyes in the back of his head right now. He is not getting caught off guard by this guy on Sombra.
Well, he gets caught off guard by Striker, though, as all this work Mistakes is doing is simply distraction right now, and you have to be alive and annoying. It's very similar to that trace where the EMP finally comes in, trying to get this cleanup now, but it's not enough. Saya gets Gamsu. I don't think they have the throughput to be able to take this unless Striker goes off.
Oh, he's got the pulse now.
Oh, he's got the possibility. Yeah, Striker is going to try to get in here. Support's still hanging out.
Go for that res. Go for that res. No, it's going to be the Valk. There we go. There's the res. There's the stick. And it works perfectly. Zebasai gone. Nope. Cancels out to Vix. Tired. This is a golden opportunity now for Boston Uprising to push on to this point.
Striker making a case to be the best tracer in the league. This is ridiculous. He's been alive so long. This stall out there. He does finally get the throughput. This should eventually be Boston's. They will take it at the last second. Meanwhile, during all of that, Mistakes did use an EMP, but already at 70% again.
That's so stupidly sick by Striker. You see it all coming together. So he's like, oh, they're all grouped up. Oh, that guy just died. There's Valkyrie. Where is the Mercy going to be?
Everyone was so low that he didn't even fully retreat. You saw him just blink back, and he's staring them down. He's staring down 3 people, knowing the Mercy's going to come in, waits, hits the stick, absolutely crushes that push for them. All right, on the way through now, Mistakes. You know, I actually like this style of play. He's just being super annoying, very patient on the EMP. Has no reason to go for it. That hack denied. Jump away, though, as the tank's retreat. He's going to try to set up in a little better position.
Making a lot of progress right now, though.
Striker 1v1 Saya somewhere. He gets a little help from his Zenyatta, and they're going to keep pushing this one through, just taking all the free push possible. Vic will find Striker eventually, but that should be a resurrected Striker. It is.
Striker just keeps happening to run into grenades, it seems like. But we will have the Riptide thrown out here by Tvik, looking for a target. Hungry for one. He's doing a good job of dodging, and he will find Gamsu eventually. High value target there, if ever there was one, as Kelix doesn't have a res to bring him back into it. Deep self-destruct. Oh, buddy! There we go. Triple self-destruct and the quad kill. Striker just piling in there with the help of Mistakes as well.
When I first saw that angle, I was like, oh, I think he misangled that, because a lot of the self-destructs have been going up. If you see right now on your screen, that high ground above the movie posters, because that's where support's been hanging out. Yeah. I was like, no one goes in the bottom over there, but he saw everyone retreating over there. An enormous self-destruct by Note.
That's so frustrating for Zupe as well. He nearly gets it off on time to save Manatid. Now Awesome Guy has been hacked. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, and they are going to make some progress, quite a bit of it, and no possible chance there for Florida Mayhem to contest at the end. Everybody dying. Yeah, this is going to be sick. All right, let's see. Note, he's lining it up. Boom. Oh, he gets the angle. Perfect.
No, it's the EMP right there, too. Who's going to get away from that? It's theoretically one of the most powerful combinations in the game. EMP will strip away shields who are going to protect you from self-destruct, strips away all your mobility. So a wonderful combination there from Mistakes and Note to take down the entirety of the Florida Mayhem.
Oh, well, now we go. That's what is possible. Side player with the McCree, keeping the packs. He gets that flashbang off, and that's exactly one of the ways that you can counter the Sombra.
2:25 to go, an EMP incoming. Wings about to be up for Kelix. There it is. Valkyrie is online. In the same breath, though, so is Zebos. They're going to try to equalize this with a self-destruct of their own. Caught Kelix around the corner.
Yeah, nowhere for Kelix to go. No, just stuck.
Didn't have his tank with him. There's no bubble for them to drop, and that is a nice defensive stabilization for the Florida Mayhem. Still, though, a lot of time on the clock for this meager amount of footage needed. 30 meters to go, but when it gets this far into Blizzard World, very claustrophobic, every inch a struggle.
Yeah, exactly. You can see them spread out as well, not really wanting to get... Oh, never mind. Never mind. Saya player doesn't even cancel the EMP, unfortunately, so we'll see. Can they take advantage of it? Yes. Nope. Finds a kill on Saya player with the self-destruct, the tire. Nothing there for Twig, unfortunately for him. Manatid T-Max. This is shaping up nicely now for Boston Uprising. There is Zebasai flying high, trying to keep his teammates alive, but it's not going to be enough.
There's no one there. It was another EMP and a self-destruct. They really have this combination work down well, and it's just so perfect on this area of Blizzard World, especially the second area worked so well. Now they have a pulse bomb to try to close out. Gamsu's got Primal Rage as well. Primal Rage could win this without even getting a kill. Just knock people away from the cart.
Just keep a body on that card at all times here, and you're so close to sneaking it in. 2.5 meters left for Boston Uprising, and if they stop contesting for an instant, they can just sneak this through. Boston Uprising,
trouble. Yeah,
you keep it on there. 1 meter left. Zupe finally has to throw the trans in, but he's gonna have to give ground, and that's gonna be it. The second they leave the point, Florida Mayhem, Boston Uprising are able to pick up their second map in this series.
Just beautiful coordination, a new strategy from them. They used to run dive. They ran some McCree onto this now, but now when you have a Sombra player, the level of mistakes, getting EMP very quickly, being annoying and just being effective on that first point, allowing all the space for Striker to come work, and then knowing when to capitalize.
Well, this is going to be it, guys. We're going to see after the break and after the halftime breakdown what happens next.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
So far, it's all Boston Uprising. They're up 2-0 over the Florida Mayhem at the half. Striker, nice pulse bombs, buddy. Making them count today. Welcome back. We are live from the Blizzard Arena. This is the final match here in week 2 of stage 3. I'm Puckett alongside Crumbs and Mr. Brennan. And so far, we got what we expected. We all thought that Boston was going to be the favored team coming in. Let's talk about how they got their victories, because the first one, incredibly impressive. At the professional level, you should not be able to full hold your opponent without giving up a single tick like this Boston's mistakes was hitting so many headshots on that Widowmaker.
Absolutely. Mistakes pretty much being paramount to this strategy that Boston were running. You know, you get the Widowmaker going off, get these headshots going as well. You have Striker on the side running the Junkrat, and I mean, you've basically got a recipe to try and full hold them here. And when you essentially outclassing a team so much that this does happen, you know, from time to time. It's very rare in professional games because of how good usually every single team plays, but in this case, Boston, again, just showing why we consider them to be a top team.
Well, Temple of Anubis is the kind of map that requires you to, when you lose a little bit of the defense, you're always thinking about what do you reposition next, what is the next move, so you always have to adapt to your position, which is discipline, and that's what we thought Boston Uprising had the advantage over Florida, and it showed here, and it showed already before with 2-4-0.
And of course, we always give them credit for their ultimate management. Great use of it in game number 1. Let's go to game 2, though. Blizzard World was a little bit closer here, and we saw a pretty strong defense from Florida Mayhem on the A point. Unfortunately, after Boston unlocked the A point, they were able to keep it rolling through B and eventually outpushed Florida on point C. But I feel like this has been the stronger of the two performances from the Mayhem.
Yep, still been pretty close, actually. I mean, this is probably why we consider Florida still to be a very good team on the up and up, to be honest, because Boston are a team that you can tell they put a lot of prep into certain maps, right? Because there's certain maps they're incredibly good at, like Volskaya, Anubis in particular, and then they just kind of they're not very good at all on Hanamura, which is strange. You know, normally teams are good across the board on a certain game mode, but here's the evidence here, because it's a brand new map in the rotation, and Blizzard World, it seems like they are a little bit more uncomfortable. So there were opportunities that Florida could have taken and capitalized off. We didn't see it. Boston still ended up taking the game, but still signs of life.
Yeah, well, when you're Florida, you put more effort into this map, and I think they've done a lot more into this strategy, specifically around the Sombra. Tivik Sombra has been really good, but it's just not enough to make the difference, because if you are not getting those hacks off, if you're trying to play that team fighting Sombra, try to get those hacks with the tanks, with your own defense matrix and shield, it's just not going to happen, and it takes too much time, and Boston picks it up.
Who are you cheering for?
Understand.
Who you guys cheering for?
I'm cheering for Maniton. His family's here right now.
Yeah?
Get for the stashes.
Do you know what I'm cheering for? All you guys in the Twitch chat to get those cheer emotes going on, those bits. I'm not sure how you actually get them. I could never work out the payment details, but I'm pretty sure you can watch some adverts and get it going. Or better yet, actually, you can subscribe to my channel and get an emote of me drinking out of a shoe, and you can spam that in the chat. But, you know, it's up to you guys, whatever you want to do. It's a magical world, the place, Twitch.tv.
You have subscribers?
I do. I actually have a subscription button. I don't know why they gave it to me, but I do have one.
Thank you, Twitch. We got Harblue, we got Dato, and who knew Bregman was a partner? Wow, anyone can get in these days. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our halftime coverage. When we come back, we've got at least 2 more games. Can we see the Mayhem force a third Game 5? It's not looking likely, but we sure hope they can turn it around in the second half. We'll be right back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
All right, welcome back for the break, everybody. That's right, we'll do it live. All right, it is going to be the third map here in this series. 2-0 lead for Boston. You and I got to catch up with mistakes during the break, though, and he seemed pretty positive.
Yeah, he seemed pretty happy with his life, and why wouldn't you be? He just played a really good set. His Widow was crazy. He's like, oh, I just got lucky. I don't know, hitting pixel-perfect headshots 3 times in a row is not necessarily luck. Sometimes maybe it factors into it, but you put yourself in position to be lucky by being just that good.
It's a very fine line, you know? In terms of where, you know, is that lucky break, or did you really, or is it all the muscle memory, or, you know, whatever, the stars aligned. You can put it all sorts of different ways.
So we're heading into Nepal now. This is an area where we see a lot of Pharah, and you can see a lot of tank play against Pharah. You really can expect almost anything based on what specific stages we're going to. Would not be surprised if I see a lot of Moira out of the Florida Mayhem. They've been running a lot of Moira Lucio on these control maps, but this is it. Florida's back against the wall, down 0-2 in the set so far. Boston likes to run a double hit scan here if at all possible, but really I could imagine seeing almost anything out of these teams as we open up onto Village.
Well, we've seen a whole variety. We've seen the Pharah, you're right. We've seen the big tanks, the big beef. Maybe that's what we're going to see out of Boston.
Yeah, I'd be most surprised, especially on Village, if we end up seeing any sort of Sombra, although both of these teams run a lot of Sombra on Ilios, Florida Mayhem especially, but it is Nepal instead. So we'll see exactly what they want to run. It's not really a Widow-heavy map either. And for Boston, they are coming out with Striker on the Roadhog. Mistakes will go back to Tracer. So tank heavy with a Moira and a Lucio to get on the point first. Florida's going to have to try to take high ground and maybe crack this from afar with the Junkrat that they're running on Tavik.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, but that's the thing. They can just chuck grenades in there all day long. Awesome guy kind of making his way above ground, trying to set up that pincer movement perhaps. And it's going to be a little bit tough to just keep that shield nice and healthy. As already Awesome Guy and Manitin working together. Striker with a bit of a whip. You can see the mouse jiggle there. A little frustrated perhaps. Got to get that aim in. Just picture that you're chucking out, instead of hooks, you're chucking out pulse bomb Striker. You'll hit everyone. There you go. There you go.
Winston has a really hard time against Roadhog. It's just a big fat Reaper essentially, especially in close quarter. Striker's even going to hit that fire onto Saya player as well. Cleans it up.
So, and McCree has a really rough time against Roadhog, and Diva has a really rough time against Roadhog. Basically, everybody has a really rough time against Roadhog right now. When Striker's playing him.
Yeah, Tracer v Roadhog can work out. Reaper versus Roadhog can work out a little bit, but we'll see if we see any changes coming in. I think that Florida's going to give this another go on what they have. They don't want to reset their ult economy just yet, especially with Tire up, Deadeye up, although it's a very difficult map to get a good Deadeye in without some sort of combination with it.
Spicy volley, some spicy damage there from Kelix. Is kind of volleying sound waves at him.
Yeah, this is exactly how I thought they combo. They're going to Deadeye and Tire in, so the Deadeye forces them all into one spot. The Tire is supposed to clean that up, but nothing coming of it.
Not enough, at least. Nako has gone down, though. Tavik does manage to find a kill, finally. Manitin, curious to see if he's going to chuck that self-destruct in here, or just save it for a new mech. The shield is getting melted. Gamsu has to give ground, and there it is. The self-destruct. Oh, it's a yank! Out in the open, or was that a boop?
Not necessarily see exactly that, but this was over the moment Moira was picked off. Without those huge healing waves coming through from Moira, Lucio simply doesn't have it to be able to keep everyone alive by himself. So that's one of the keys to taking down this kind of composition, is to take down the Moira first. Easier said than done in a lot of those situations. Mistakes is going to move over to the Junkrat. Generally, when we've seen Boston play the Junkrat, it has been Striker on it in the past. So see how this one goes, and not well at all.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that Note isn't able to cancel it out with that D-Matrix. Gamsu getting forced into the corner. It shouldn't be the end of days here as far as Boston are concerned. Yeah, exactly. Just, you can get chucked off the side here because this attack is as good as over, and they still have a lot of room to work with, though, so.
Yeah, that first push netted them nearly 70%, so they're about in that one fight away territory. Striker staying on the Roadhog, not going to get any switches up from this composition. They're going to bank on this Shatter being money. And the moment that they see Awesome Guy maybe extend too far, that shield going down, they're going to try to get in a good position for her Shatter and clean this up, take stage one.
Well, traded places. High ground now here for Boston Uprising. Gamsu with the shield. Spick is just going to go ahead and lob a Tire out here. Are they going to be able to delete it? No! It's the massive Deadeye triple coming in from Saya player. And while the rest of the team here just collapsing on the Boston roster, not a whole lot, exactly. Madison even just going to make sure that Note, unfortunately, it's not going to end well.
Has to get out there. Now we're reaching maybe the final fight for Florida to be able to claw their way back into this matchup. I really love that they're using the Deadeye and the tire. You're just stuck between a rock and a hard place here. You look around the corner, and there's the charge to get the shield down, and that's why Saya player connects with 3.
Beastly. And then it's just a fight straight up here on the high ground. Again, where you gonna go? Self-destruct. It's gonna force him onto the low ground, and well, that's opened it up for mistakes. 2 kills for him. The res goes off on Manitin, so we will have that tank back in play, and they will flip it right out from under Florida's noses. Boston Uprising now control the point.
Yeah, forced back. They still will have time to reset at least once. 95%. We are definitely going towards the last final fight here. Manitin does get reset here. Still time enough for a full push, and they're gonna have Valkyrie for this. Meanwhile, Alex just now nearing his sound barrier. This tire could end it before it starts, though. Gotta be very careful.
Man.
See how far back they're playing on this, actually.
Ah, there's the snipe. Well played. Zupe not gonna get caught unawares. Tvik manages to sneak that tire right through Gamsu's shield. No res possible here, and really that Earth Shatter, you want to kind of have it for this next fight. As Striker takes a leap down, misses his hook, decides to go whole hog, really throwing it in here. A little bit behind on the heels, although Nako is trying to keep him topped up.
Yeah, whole hog was just to buy time on that point to hopefully get Gamsu back in this mix and to hit a big shatter, but they're getting cleaned up one by one. Saya player's got another Deadeye, could zone out this left-hand side. Meanwhile, it's been snuck back over.
There was the Earth Shatter. Didn't really see the follow-up, though. And the sneak back here for Florida Mayhem now. The tranquility is definitely flowing, and Saya player's got the Deadeye all over again, and right there, nowhere to hide, point blank. Doesn't quite play it patiently enough, but he does soften him up enough for Zupe and Tvik to clean up.
Fade was down there too, really working out their combos well. Getting the shield down by jumping in onto that Reinhardt, getting the 3K there, and then the tire is just so brutal to deal with as well. If you're a Reinhardt in that situation, what do? You're just waiting to get blown up by the tire, which is just your life now as Reinhardt, but you gotta try to keep the shield up. When that goes in and Reinhardt does fall and the shield gets cracked, you're getting opening up big dead eyes here. We are gonna go over to the shrine area of the map. No Sanctum thus far. See what kind of compositions these team wants to run. So far, Mistakes is hanging out on a Soldier 76, which has seen a lot of play on shrine specifically. You can take that high ground with it, but then they can play around your angles. Most likely, he will try to set up on that elephant right there we're zooming in on.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know, all these maps are kind of shrine-like. Maybe we just call this one Big Brass Elephant.
Yeah, it really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, totally. The double B and E. There we go. Because really, this is going to be the focal point with the Soldier here for Boston Uprising. They would love to get Mistakes in position under the BB and E. And well, we'll see if he can manage it, because right now it's going pretty well. Manitin under fire. Striker wins the duel versus Tvik to kick things off. And in a Tracer v Tracer battle, yeah, Striker, you expect him to come up with that as a result.
Yeah, and he forces those engagements very often, very confident in his ability to win against opposing Tracers, and now it is just his playground. No McCree on the field to even slow him down. He will clean up the remainder of this Florida team. Manitin taken out as well, as Mistakes adds in some extra damage too. And it's exactly where you want to be as a Soldier 76. You can pick whichever spot you want, you can rotate right to the elephant, and you've got a Mercy in your pocket to damage boost you. Florida coming in, they don't necessarily have the tire to combo with the Deadeye. It's going to be interesting to see how they plan on getting good Deadeyes off, or maybe just use it as a reload mechanic at a certain point.
No flash. There's a stick. Nope, not quite the stick, and they do have just enough room to get out of the way. I like the play, though, from Striker. He can farm up that pulse so quickly. Should we have another chance to get that ult up online, especially if he can just farm it up on Manitin. Manitin realizing that he's at risk. It is going to be the change of position here from Striker as the dive comes in for Florida Mayhem, trying to get into that back line. Striker getting caught, but he's able to rewind out, and they will continue this fight.
Deadeye does come out from the other side, trying to zone them out. Not going to be the case. Gamsu will eventually fall, but here comes the tactical visor, and Diva's out of mech. Not finding the angle though. Oh, Flashbang's gonna cancel that out. Saya player grabs himself a quick 2.
There's Saya player right now making the difference for Florida Mayhem, hands down. Constant pressure. Tvik literally runs right into Striker. And we will eventually have the shots to clean up, and they will manage to flip it. Florida Mayhem now. Yeah, it's almost exactly what happened on the first go around. 69% here for Boston Uprising, and now it's on Florida to close the gap.
Florida going to be able to hold on at this point too. Always good to be in position here. Awesome Guy is holding on to the top point here. He's going to notice this incoming flank. Striker does not notice the giant gorilla in the room right around the corner.
He will notice the big brass elephant. because you can't ignore the brass elephant, but you might be able to ignore the Winston.
I mean, I really admire your effort to make this a thing.
It's gonna happen. Just accept. So, moving through now, Striker, again with the Hail Mary Pulse. Again, not quite finding the kill. Still just putting the pressure on Florida Mayhem, who are sitting on 2 ults right now. Zupe working his way up to Trance, however, he's gonna get there fairly quickly. Might have it for this next fight. Might be necessary as well. A lot of damage getting poured on here by Boston, and eventually Mistakes will whittle Saya player down.
Yeah, he cleans it up. All the damage initially done by Striker there, who just has so much courage against his McCree. He blinked through an anticipated flashbang. Here comes the tactical visor, but he's got a diva in his face. Will just take the free DMAC and kill.
Yeah, at that time, we will have no real self-destruct on the point itself. Now, Mistakes will get overwhelmed, sniped by Zupe. Or Volley doing so much damage to Saya player, man. He's relentless right now.
He's cleaning up. That high noon, people always forget how long you can channel it for. Until you hear that bang, you have to assume it's there, and the people peeking out were cleaned up. Florida in good position now at 75%. One more hold, and they will take a map, and map 4 will be all up for grabs.
I really am convinced that the diva voice actress, she put her heart and soul into those cries.
They might have actually thrown her off a cliff to get that line. That might have actually happened.
Those are her best lines. All right, Saya player. I mean, good to have his perspective because the man is just hitting shot after shot, point blank, banned the hammer. That could have been a dead Winston once upon a time. Gamsu hanging on by a thread, but not for long. There we go, Saya player. Just continuing to do the deeps. Oh, Zebasai can't get around the corner, mate. Come on.
Well, Striker's going to try to single-handedly bring this back. He gets Zebo and now Saya player down. It seems like there might be just a little bit too much despite taking Tavik down there. Awesome guy trying to close this one out. Knocking them all off. Florida not dead yet. Will take Nepal. And we are going to perhaps a series deciding or a map 5 deciding map number 4 on Junkertown.
So it will be the J-Town. It will be map 4. And well, that would be fitting if we had 3 5-mappers today, Hex. On a Saturday. We started early. It's fine. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. No one's got anywhere to go. Saya player absolutely crushing it. We know what he can do on Widow. He has brought the Cowboy today, and he is trying to carry this Florida team to victory. We'll try to decide it in map number 4 coming up.
Get the right. Get the right. Get the right. I'm dead. Go Matrix. Go. I will left side. Dead. Moira. Dead. Go. Grouping him. Nice. Very good. This one, guys.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Zoe. How are you all doing in here? Is that good? Wonderful. Now, of course, I'm all over the place and reading what people have to say and mostly what they're asking. And one thing really stuck out for this very match. This was, where's Swoosh? Will we be seeing Swoosh again now that Awesome Guy has been joining the Florida Mayhem? So during halftime, I actually had a very interesting conversation with the coaching team from the Florida Mayhem about their substitution strat. And he said that they're in a unique position where for stage 1 and 2, that never had to think about that since they only had 6 players, and only just now with stage 3 they have people to come in and out of the game, so they have to everything got more complex. That's basically what he said. And he said for this week specifically, they want to give Awesome Guy as much playtime as possible to make sure that he's actually meshing with the team, and moving forward all of these decisions will be performance-based. So whoever is doing well in scrims and in practice will be on stage for the upcoming match. That seems fair to me, and those decisions are made by the actual coaches, not by the players. So, well, let's see what they have in store for us. If they have any changes for map 4, we will find out in just a second. Hex, Semler, please take it away.
Thank you, Zoe. And I was crossing my fingers. I was wondering, was she gonna like mix them up again, like mix them up or not? There for a second, I thought I was hearing it in my own mind, but no.
Through it clearly, and you still bring it up. Come on.
She got it. She got it. She got it. I also love the coaches, where the kind of answers they give sometimes are just like, well, we had more options, so it got more complicated. It's like, really?
God, how it works. I do like that they're running a meritocracy, at least for Florida right now, though. You know, the best players will play. Not a whole lot of industries work that way, so good job, guys, there. And the answer for substitutions, it's really interesting. No, there aren't any. No substitutions on either side. They're keeping their same rosters in here for Junkertown. And in fact, when it comes to not changing things up, Boston generally runs the same composition until they're forced off of it. They will run Junkrat, Roadhog, and a Widow all the way through third point until it stops working. And even then, sometimes they'll just keep at it. And they'll run it on offense and on defense. So Boston has a very set strategy here on Junkertown that they continue to like to run. Florida, very similar. They will run a Junkrat as well. And this Widow duel is what we're all looking forward to. We saw a little bit on Anubis. Saya player versus Mistakes. Junkertown, such a good Widow map. Can Mistakes keep up his level of play? Because coming into this, I thought the only chance Florida had was to force it into a Widow battle. Let Saya be your player. But Mistakes stepped it up and played so well on that Widow on Anubis.
He did. It is going to be that moment. Again, we got to catch up with him. He was like, oh, it was all luck. I'm like, well, all right, we'll see. We'll see. Now, I mean, you get basically the Widow map apart from what, Gibraltar, where you really get to go to town. Now we're going to see. Are you going to be able to go toe-to-toe with one of the most impressive Widows we've seen so far?
Yeah, the only thing that's really changed up for Boston is not being able to run dive as confidently. Mistakes just not confident on his Genji yet. They're working on it. They're putting some practice in, and they just need to work out some of the communication kinks on running that full dive, and it can be hard to really work that out. Saya versus Mistakes, round number 1, fight.
I didn't know you were a Street Fighter fan, Hex. I'm impressed. Yeah. I'm pleased. I'm pleased.
Let me some FGC stuff.
Dude, yeah, FGC win. I mean, that new what is it? Whatever. We can move on from this. Saya player. He's looking for an angle. Hey, nearly gets a grenade to the face. That wouldn't have been pleasant. Hey, there we go. Mistakes looking the wrong way. Blindsided.
Yeah. Widow wishes she was just a little bit shorter there, head sticking out over that railing. And that is a huge opening pick, and based off of that, Boston's gonna fall back a lot, give up a lot of ground here, and now Saya player free to reign, take any angle that he wants. They're trying to throw a little flack his way to make him uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Manitin takes out his counterpart. Saya gets Mistakes again.
Yeah, that's so tough for Mistakes to get back in here. And there it is, Kelix will be able to just sneak his way through, but Saya opening it all up. Headshot after headshot, and just it's so important to win that initial Widow duel, because then it's going to be Saya player who has to work his way into angles that Mistakes will control. Instead, Mistakes gets bopped twice, and there it is, a very quick first point for Florida Mayhem.
Well, they should be able to set up here on second point. I have to believe that some of those kills onto Mistakes were just a lack of playtime, not knowing where all the angles are on Junkertown, because he seemed unaware of where that fire was going to come from, especially on that first pick.
Yeah, the first one. Expecting Saya perhaps to be playing right side. Well, Florida, they continue to press forward, hiding behind the shield. Well, that's all going according to plan. I don't think that's any big shock to anybody out there. We will have the tire getting thrown here by Striker, however, right over the top. Now looking for the target, not gonna get it. He gets deleted by Tvik.
A nice job by Tvik there. Oddly enough, Boston has given up the high ground. They dropped down to try to fight on this card. They don't want to give up any more free push. They'd rather take a ground war here. Now it's able to get Awesome Guy, and that means a shield down. Amanzin's going to try to push back and crush the shield of the other team as well as they res Awesome Guy.
Oh, I like it. Awesome Guy back into this, and what a snipe, what a play, man. It's denies it, but then the master play coming in from Note, the self-destruct that catches 3 and opens it up for 4.
Ridiculous self-destruct by No brings this all the way back from the brink, so close to going the wrong way for Boston. No EMP to help him out there, just pure positioning, knowing where to drop that self-destruct. And Boston's defense has stabilized and will be able to hold this high ground now. And look, he waits for the Transcendence. Again, the shield gets cracked, the cooldown not reset yet, right over the top. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Note takes him down.
That was so clean. Zupei's got to be counting. I mean, he was so close as well. He was right on the edge of that explosion. That could have been a quad. Fire in the hole. Another opportunity for a big explosion. Let's see. Can Tvik get his tire in there? Hey, he'll find Nako before he gets gone.
You'll take that. An interesting angle of approacher from Florida as they send the tanks in through the bottom and just bully out Boston, who was a little bit out of position previously. They dropped down from that high spot. They were just down on the ground fighting there. Florida saw this, took advantage of it, sent their big bodies in, opened it up with a tire. Now Boston's going to be in a tough spot to really try to retake this because Gamsu is a long ways away from getting back into this, it looks like.
Could be a difference maker, though, because Nako's now swapped over to the Zenyatta, so we will have the Discord Orb in play here for Boston Uprising. Can they get through the choke points fast enough, though? There's a high-value target, a big kill coming in for Mistakes, and they are able to challenge here. Boston Uprising leading the way.
It doesn't matter. Saya player took down Nako, took down Striker. Mistakes will soon follow, and Florida will continue to push on Junkertown, looking to take us to a map 5 with this very impressive offense thus far.
Yeah, man, it's a man. Everybody really stepping up here on Florida. When your back's to the wall, you got nothing to lose. All of a sudden, that pressure can fall away. You can actually start playing your real game.
I'll see Saya on the cleanup here. I believe one of his picks early, right onto Nako there. And then that is not where you want to be in the sights of Saya. It is the move that Boston makes more often than not, as they do go to double supports towards the end here. You don't really want to run a single support and just lose it. Huge hook from Manitin. One of the best Roadhogs in the game. Max range hooks, takes out Mistakes. And huge tire from Striker, though, might bring this back.
It's just going back and forth. That was a filthy hook, but that was a filthy tire. Left skid marks everywhere. And Striker finding that kill on Manitin and Tvik. Boston Uprising. Man, they're doing a better job of keeping it together than I am right now.
That is 100% true. All right, well, Calyx has Valkyrie for the next fight. Gamsu with that supercharger as well. Meanwhile, Awesome Guy a while away from his supercharger. I would expect to go down relatively early in this fight. They get yanked out into the open though, and now supercharger unavailable for this defense.
Again, Gamsu. First to die, not pretty. That's going to really allow for some progress to be made here by Florida Mayhem. Gamsu is back into it, but he's got a long run ahead of him. Mistakes has been spotted, pinned down. Will he be able to find an angle to work with here? Some point blank Widow play could be fun, but he is going to get deleted by Tvik. Too quick there.
Mistakes out of this. Saya player is going to look for an angle. They're trying to get aggressive very likely. That would be the perch he wants to go to see if anyone else is still sneaking around. He's going to continue to push forward on this perch. Has to be counting the respawn time, though, for his counterpart. Doesn't want to be too out in the open when Mistakes respawns.
37% critical. That's 37% on the headshots coming through from Saya player. Always a good stat. Well, we will have the supercharger going down.
Yeah, that's ridiculous right there. Supercharger does come down from Gamsu, and they're going to all back away. He's in a very safe position and far back, but it means that they're tethered to it. They can't push much further forward. Big tire comes in here. Oof.
That's a nice target. Nako out of it. Calyx is still alive. He'll get the res off. The res has now been used, and yet again, the halt hook combo is ruthless. Manitin never stops. Gamsu, he's, completely destroyed immediately already. Note again getting value for his self-destruct, but they are winning these fights for Lord of Mayhem. It is looking so good for him right now. Boston haven't really found the answer.
Well, they forced out that Transcendence as well. Note is able to actually get Awesome Guy, and Manitin a little eager on the earlier hook. Almost had a Zenyatta. Will redeem himself there by taking down Striker, but Boston's defense has stabilized just a little bit here, mostly off the back of Note. When they stabilized on second, it was that self-destruct. Note is taking it into his own hands as D.Va, and he is protecting people and also going after some of these targets. Saya continues to dominate Mistakes this round.
Yeah, Saya is not losing this duel. He has won it hands down so far. Perhaps some nerves coming in from Mistakes. Not quite comfortable on that Widow just yet. But now, Note, he's got that self-destruct. He's delivered quite a few barn burners so far. There we go, right over the top. Where you gonna hide? Looks like they will. Never mind! Manitin, he's the one who gets laid low.
Manitin Falls will be resurrected though. They were able to take down the Supercharger as well as Striker comes in with a kill too. And it seems that the Florida offense has hit a wall here. 30 seconds remain. That's actually a huge kill. That's the guy you want out. He's going to go back to spawn, get a new mech. He had recently used self-destruct, so not giving up the biggest ult percentage there.
Yeah, quick swap, remech, no problem. So we've got Striker high ground here, 50% and counting on his Riptire. Thank you, Striker. We were taking a look at that just now.
Manitin goes over to the D.Va, despite how good his Hog has been. They're gonna try to just rush in here. A good stall tactic tank as well. Tavik over to the Genji. So they're trying to transition into something a little closer to resembling Dive, besides staying in the Widow.
Yeah, Tavik can get over the top, a little bit more mobility for him. They're moving together as a group now. Awesome Guy waiting exactly for the opportunity, for the opening here to go charging through as Zupe decides it's now time to go for the trance. Gamsu's Bongo's not long for this world. And while we still have the halts coming through, but now Nako, the delayed trance on his part, gonna do a good job of keeping his teammates alive. And in the meantime, Striker again finding the double and the triple in the end.
That should be it. What? Somehow Kelix took out Tavik, who was going after him, got that blaster going. Some big tires, some big self-destructs allow Boston to stabilize on defense for about 3 to 4 minutes straight. It was only Note doing his job, keeping them in this fight. And now the win condition for Boston is rather simple. Finish out Junkertown. Yeah. Easier said than done sometimes.
Not the craziest amount of progress made by Florida. Just taking a quick gander here at some of the stats on the board. Saya player, he's kind of dropped down on that crit percent, down to 22% now. But only 7 final blows. It felt like a lot more, but then I guess, you know, he just kept winning that key fight versus Mistakes.
Yeah, it was the duel, and a lot of people were going after Mistakes there. They decided if they could prioritize the Widow and open up space for Saya, that was where their bread was buttered, but he never really took over the game that we see some Widows do, where, yes, you take the Widow down, but then it's 1 pick after that, 2 picks after that. It was the couple of kills that he got on second point that allowed him to take that, a nice early pick onto Nako, who had just switched over to the Zenyatta. We'll see what they have here. I was really impressed as Kelix, who's solo healing a majority of that game until we got to third point, only died once.
Now Kelix, he is, I mean, a standout. When he's kind of that rock, you can really count on him on that support line for Boston Uprising. Very hard to kill, doesn't really go for those high-risk plays, but he's just always there healing, and that's really what he needs to be doing, keeping that priority going on.
And until the very end when Tavik went after him and he shot him in the face.
Hey, exactly, that also helps. If you can kill the people coming after you, you might die a little less too. Still, it is going to be the swap now as Florida Mayhem get onto that defense. Boston Uprising on the offense. We got Mistakes sticking to the Widow by the looks of it here to kick things off. And well, as far as Florida Mayhem, I don't think it comes as a shock to anybody that Saya will be staying on the Widow.
Oh, Nako's on the Bastion offensively. This would be something that they don't always run. Generally, Nako would still play a Roadhog on the offense here. But they do have the pieces to set it up. It might just be to open it up to see if there is a Bastion on the defense. No, they're just going to go for it, try to melt that shield that's peeking around the corner, and they do get themselves set up here.
Yeah, I like it. I like the trap placement as well, right there on the point. Gamsu, fresh shield goes down, and now we've got that pirate ship, Fair Breeze. Well, okay, I mean, we can keep going.
No, I mean, you are a man who enjoys his
sheets. Iron Tot! The winds are blowing. Let's go. Mistakes. He's going to get run over. In the meantime, the fight is happening on the ship. And Nako right now is just melting shields, melting players. Gamsu got the kill there, but still, right now they are making so much progress, Boston Uprising.
It's the kill on Kelix, though. He's the only healer on this team for them right now, and they're going to try to keep going through it. Nako does have his own self-sustain, though. He can heal himself. You see him hiding around the corner, getting his own healing on there. Going to continue to try to get as much push as humanly possible. There's nothing you can do in this situation except try to get a little bit more, and then finally reset. Nako at 89% until tank mode. We'll see if he sticks with this. The cart might be just in an unreachable position to try to get to it with your Bastion, but you can still rotate around left side and house. You don't necessarily need to be on the cart there, and then set up a shield there and try to crack the enemy shield. It's generally where the Widow hangs out is where you start seeing the entire team go to in this situation.
Ooh, missed opportunity there. Note, not going to be able to capitalize on it either. A few too many bodies. Watching Saya players back.
Nako's just hanging out right now. It looks like he's going with Gamsu on the right side. Yeah, they're taking a really cool angle here. They're behind Tavik.
Now this is definitely an approach. Fresh barrier goes down. Nako gonna go ahead and start melting people. He is getting boosted as well. Saya player is here. Self-destruct out in the open. Not gonna find the headshot, but the double kill yet again. Note delivers the goods.
Note has been ridiculous, and that's Zebo down too, so no one's going to be resurrected here as well. They need to continue and clean up a last couple of these kills, but Nako will do just that. Now they work their way to the cart, which has rolled a considerable amount backwards.
Yeah, can they get a body on that cart? Somebody make some progress here. Now there may even be a chance for Florida Mayhem to re-engage if they were feeling so greedy, but they might not. They might be hanging back, although they're still kind of poking. Yeah, no, it's not. No. They're just going to make sure that they have the high ground control.
You re-engage here, yeah, exactly. You lose that fight, then you've completely lost the high ground. And the last thing you want to do against a team that is running a Bastion, you don't know if they're going to switch or not. It does seem like they might be headed that direction to switch it up. No, just go back. The last thing you want to do is give a Bastion team the high ground right away, because how are you ever going to come out and fight that? So it's smart to never get up here. They don't want to give up this top right high ground, but they're still in a position where they don't necessarily have an answer to this Bastion. It's kind of going all on Tavik to be able to get a tire in here at some point.
Oh, that's the frustrating one. Switching to Sentry mode just as the push comes through. Nako finds Awesome Guy. Didn't do the majority of the work, but still he finds that kill. That's going to be a feel-good moment for him. And well, behind you, yes, that's right. Manitson is there on the Diva, gets chased away, and now Nako can set himself up again on that payload.
Yeah, you know, he's in recon mode, just poking around so he can heal himself while he is shooting. Just kind of shoot and heal, shoot and heal. Well, that might be the way to beat the Bastion, and the stove comes in. That's a full cleanup.
That was a cheeky trap thrown down there by Tavik. In passing, no hiding for Nako.
No, absolutely no way to get out of there. Now Gamsu in a little bit of trouble as he finds himself out in no man's land. They're going to let him live just to get better positioning on the reset up. You also don't want to lose anyone out here on that chase and put yourself in a bad position defensively. Saya watching the corners.
Here's the change. So we will, I mean, wow, they're just moving together as a group, sticking tight, but now Tavik with that tire wants to take advantage of this.
They're grouped up.
Hey, this could be perfect. Right down the stairwell, even trying to get it protected. Nope, somehow survives. Barely, but he does get D-Mech to the end. Not going to be able to make it out.
He's going to get himself a new mech with the self-destruct there, new call down. This is the same position that Florida took trying to re-engage as well. They're just going to get on the cart from below. Saya's taking a very strange angle behind the rest of his team. Here comes a tire. Trying to find someone who will just take the stairs. Oh, huge!
Oh, monstrous kill. Zebasai out of it. Tavik gone as well. Mistakes finally connecting. Bullets to heads. So now it is going to be Mistakes. Looking for the follow-up. Not quite going to get it there. Could finally delete him. And yes, I mean, yeah, you got a rifle as well as a sniper rifle. So just go to town.
Yeah, he had a shot on Zupe earlier. He missed. He's trying to avenge that and get Zupe on his way back home. Still can't connect with it.
Well, how does Zupe live there? I mean, he only looked like he had 40 HP or something.
I think he kicked the bullet away.
Ah, those lightning fast reflexes.
Yeah,
he is an Omnic after all. He can maybe just calculate the trajectory, knows exactly how to reflect it, deflect it off of his iron heel.
They don't let him play blackjack, that's for sure. little too many calculations going on there. So, with a little under 3 minutes left, they only have to go a little bit towards the end. 87 meters was on the board for Florida, and Florida wants to re-engage right now. Good catch here, but now both support ults out from Florida at the same time. Kelix did use his Valkyrie, but Nako, if they feel like their cylinders can pop it, they are gonna bring them back. Yes, it is time to go. They don't even need to use Transcend. Another huge tire from Striker. Zebo is just, I guess, attracted to tires. He smells rubber and goes right for it.
Florida Mayhem need to call the bomb squad at this point, man. It's Hurt Locker. They're just going up in bits all over the place. Either it's D.Va or it's
yeah, that was their defense too. It's just been rip tires and self-destructs that have kept Boston Uprising in this game. Mistakes putting on enough pressure here and there that they have to play around this, and then the bombs are coming in to be able to deal with that.
Oh, not quite gonna make it out in time. That's gonna be the solo kill there for Maniton. Strong start here to this fight. See if Kelix is gonna go for the res. Not looking like it. Looks like he wants to try and, well, not really care anymore because he's dead. Striker will find Tvik though, so 1 for 2. Not quite gonna be good enough, and that's unfortunate that Nako threw that trance in there because this isn't really a fight that his team is gonna be able to come out ahead in.
Yeah, it wasn't an ideal position. You saw even the players he wanted to heal were all split up, so he had to draw his attention between forward and back. Of course, you want to prioritize going back as a Zenyatta so that you're in a safe position when that Transcendence wears off, but Florida will clean that fight up. 90 seconds remain for Boston to finish this map, or we're going to another map number 5.
Let's see just what's gonna happen. 3 for 3, always a possibility. But a minute on this clock, still a good amount to work with here. Both support ults back online now for Florida Mayhem, seeing as how they use theirs first. That does make a crazy kind of sense. I like it. Striker getting a few more meters there out of the payload, but it's Tvik right in the thick of things. Nothing here to stop him from hacking them all to bits. Only the 1-for-1 trade, though, as yet again, Striker gets value out of a tire, removing Zebasai.
Yeah, a little bit of a back-cap attempt there. They had 2 back there, but now they're cleaned up. Zaya's Tracer has come to life. He's going to town, and they will get a few. They almost back-cap that all the way, only 4 meters, but a nice catch out by Maniton to get back on that cart. Now they're in position, though, where they don't have to go around the bend. They can chance the idea of going through the bottom hole. They're going to send a forward scout in the Tracer first. You don't really want to group up down there because Saya's got the pulse bomb.
Great focus fire, though, coming through there from Saya and Tvik. Getting on the back line, Nako's dead. Yeah, you got to go, just throw it out. 25 seconds left. How do you get out of here without further stagger, though? Because now, really, they're not showing any fear whatsoever. Kelix with the Valk Wings. Unfortunately, they've worn off now after that push.
Yeah, they're gonna have to bully their way through. The D.Va's gotta be the one to get to the cart. Note needs a little more heroics. Gamsu already down. D.Va is flying up over there. They're gonna res Gamsu. D.Va gets on the cart just to touch, but perhaps a little too early as now there's no bodies as the map goes into overtime.
How do you get in on this? They're getting bullied back. Gamsu, luckily for him, had the jump pack, and Nako throws in yet another trance. It will wear off eventually. Can they get the kills to make the difference? Zebasai dying first again. May cost him. Got to keep a body on that point. Tvik finds Striker, and now we have the blade. This should end it all.
Well, it's a Primal Rage. Winston's going to take a lot of swipes to get him down. They will eventually team up on him. A self-destruct from Note, trying to have the heroic moment again. Or actually, that was Maniton's at first, right on top of Notes. They will both fall, in Florida forces a map number 5. Hey, tell me how you feel about Oasis.
Well, I'm sure that both of these teams are more excited about it than London were earlier. But it's kind of a similar situation here. This is wild. Reverse sweep is possible for Florida.
That was harsh, but it was fair.
It was definitely fair. So tied up 2-2, and it's fitting. We're going to get 3 out of 3 here going to distance. All 5 maps in all of our series today here on Saturday in the Overwatch League. And it will be Boston Uprising. Can they get the confidence to end it here? The way we saw earlier from Philly, or is it going to be Florida Mayhem just sneaking a win out of, well, what could have been total disaster?
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
there is still a chance here for Florida Mayhem, then that's big.
And Boston holding again. They have made this look easy.
Swoosh, and Manhattan coming in big, the heroes for Florida Mayhem. Striker dodging around the corner, and this is how you overwhelm teams if you're moving together as 6.
All the marbles on the line. It's an incredible game of Overwatch, Matt.
A critical game, especially for Boston right now, who are in the lead. They want to keep trying to extend that. They were in the lead. But, I mean, in terms of like the standings in the stage, they're doing pretty good there.
Any given Owl Day, man. I mean, you've got Boston upsets NYXL, all these matches today. Now they're on the verge of getting reverse swept by the Florida Mayhem. I don't think anyone predicted this, but it's all according to plan. You're getting double Owl token drops, so we're trying to stretch it out as much as possible, I suppose. Not actually the case, but hey, you'll take the bonus. And when I mentioned that, someone's like, oh, I forgot to log in today.
Yeah, of course, Hex. Thanks for reminding me. The one day I don't leave the stream on. Jesus. I could have had like an NYXL skin or something.
Yeah, you could have. You could have. No, not going to happen today. But, you know, I promise, whoever wins this set now, since this is their last one of the day, I'm going to buy whatever skin. I think they're both gorgeous skins anyway. I don't have a Boston or a Florida skin yet, so I'm ready for it.
Who would you go for?
Well, I've got...
You know, that's the thing. When we buy skins, it's because, you know, fan of
it is a player.
I
yeah.
mean, I've got the Poco Fusion skin.
That's right. I got Linkster's Widow.
Yeah. I mean, we can just keep going with my Tracers now. Save Yobi.
Yeah, I've got Prophet and Save Yobi for Tracer.
I've got McCree Pine.
I think I would just get a third Tracer skin and
right?
probably grab Strikers, though. I mean, he's been playing so well. But hey, whoever wins this on that side, and I think, you know, if Florida wins this, might have to get myself a Manhattan Roadhog skin.
Hey, all right, I'll get behind that.
Yeah.
All the Roadhog skins, are the best skins.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Manhattan, he's been going whole hog.
Yeah.
Yes, literally, and also in his performance, he is a beast today.
I'm also willing to get a Boston Uprising Sombra skin because Mistakes is going to run a Sombra here on University. Now, we've been seeing a lot more of tank-heavy Slambulance, but Sombra was very meta, is meta on the lower levels. Contenders, I've been told, have been playing a lot of this as well. What the thing is that you do is, if both teams are running it, it's a race to the middle pack. Now, if only one team running it, the pack below the points. Now, it seems unideal, but it allows both of your tanks to go down there and come back up. And when you're running these highly mobile tanks, like a D.Va, like a Winston, see him drop down, get the pack, come back up. And that pack's always going to be there if it is hacked. On the other side of things, from Florida Mayhem, they are running a Hog, a Junkrat, and a McCree. They're going to try to make it a little more static because they got the Orisa as well. Completely different styles of play coming out from Boston and Florida.
See which one is going to prevail here as already. Mistakes making his way through. Nako will find the kill on Vic. That's going to start things off strong. A side player will find a value kill on Striker. It's just orbs getting lobbed left and right. Mistakes on the low ground, but there's the hook yet again. Manhattan getting value, going fishing, not throwing it back.
It's a little bit interesting, Boston wanting to engage there. Calix goes for the res. Saya has something to say about that. And Florida will crush this first fight engagement. I was gonna say it's a little bit interesting. Boston tried to engage there because Mistakes was still busy doing his homework. Essentially, he's down below the university in the library. He's getting that pack hacked, which means you're going in and you're not gonna have any hack targets. You're not even gonna have the DPS that a Sombra offers. So they were going for something cheeky there. Got absolutely punished for it by Florida. Now this is exactly where you want to be as Florida. You're in a composition that benefits very well from having control of the point, and you're gonna try to get picks as people come in.
Yeah, you give these angles here to Saya player to just sit back and keep clinking shots into you. Gonna make it a bit difficult. He's got his Minder here as well. And are they aware exactly that Striker is in the back line? Seems like that's been calmed over to Saya, so he is trying to keep an eye on it. Focuses through. Mistakes. What? Manages to get out. Translocate so quick. Gamsu, though, taking so much damage.
That's why you want to get the headshot. I mean, the Fan the Hammer is generally better because she's got a higher health pool, but it takes longer, so she's able to translocate out. Meanwhile, the Tire comes in, takes down Gamsu. Tvik actually, T-Mac note with that as well. Only one resurrection available. High Noon is canceled. Striker puts an end to that time frame.
Gets rid of it, and while Zebaside, no way out. He'll get res, Saya player only to die once again horribly, and Boston Uprising, a bit of a different tune here from the first time we saw control between both of these teams. Florida Mayhem able to get up to the 60% or nearly there, and it's going to be Boston now flipping the point their way.
And Florida used a lot of what they had during that as well. The Deadeye came out, you saw Valkyrie come out from Zebo there. Let's see if they continue to go with this composition.
Still hanging in. He's just waiting. He's waiting. They're setting the trap. His mistakes, trying to work his angle, trying to work his way around. If he can find a hack target, that would be pretty juicy. Striker's gonna go ahead and take a pot shot in. Mistakes will find Sire player as well. That's an interesting one. But then it is the whole hog coming in from Manatee, pinning them against the wall. Nowhere for Note to go. Gamsu launches himself in here, bodily primal, but he is just getting melted.
An interesting call on the primal there to get in there. Perhaps he saw a low target. That is another halt and hook over the top. This one's not over yet. Mistakes is gonna be in here trying to stall this out. Tavic's got other ideas with a tire, trying to pick his targets wisely. Will eventually find Mistakes. It should be insta-res. It is.
Yeah, he is res, but that is a brutal way. You're not gonna have that oomph, that heavy damage to deny a tire on the Sombra. Awesome guy. Yep, time to get that bongo in. Instantly, Note tries to dart forward and delete it, but it's not gonna happen. Are they out of range though? Seems like.
Still fighting in this right now. Mistakes has done such a good job just on his straight up DPS. He's coming out of nowhere, and it's just DPS you don't expect to be added into the mix. So you've kind of got this chart in your head of like, oh, I can win this fight versus this person if I have this healing and that. And then Mistakes, he just messes up plans. It's exactly what Sombra is meant to do. Here's some extra DPS. Oh, now you don't have abilities. Just screwing up everything.
Making his way in yet again, right into the back line. Oh, this could be a good value hack. Just putting the pressure on, putting the damage in. Will he find the hack though? It doesn't seem like he wants to sacrifice the damage for now. Yep, there we go. The hack on Manatee, no more D-Matrix means a lot of damage getting pumped into Florida Mayhem, whether they like it or not. Zupe eventually getting overwhelmed, and Mistakes making the difference right now for his team.
They had to use the Valkyrie during that fight as well, but now they're trying to put some presence on the point. It is Saya and a healer. They do find the Mercy though. Mistakes out of nowhere again, finally deleted, but it matters not. It is only Saya and his Winston on the point. Gamsu will take down Saya as well. Awesome guy's gonna have to try to stall. Down and up again.
Yep, no pack for you. It's been hacked. I like it. You got the illustration there, what you were mentioning, Hex. Yeah. Awesome. Tries to drop down, tries to get the pack. No pack, no heals, he dies, and we got a point here for Boston Uprising. They take the lead on this 5th and final map.
So we've always thought of Boston as a dive team, as they run it on defense, they run it on offense. It's really what kind of got them going in the first and second stages of the Overwatch League. They're running dive with Sombra. You see when she's attacking, the tanks are in there as well, so you're still getting that extra damage. She's not the utility hero she was anymore. Yes, hacking backs is good and it's helpful, but that's not building your EMP. It is damage time. And Mistakes is putting in that damage. This is something we assumed that we might see him on when this patch came around. He's been forced into this role, and now he's gonna run Sombra again. No changes from the Boston Uprising. Now, I've not been convinced that Sombra is great on this map. I think Mistakes might be able to change my mind.
If anybody would, Hex, I know you've been talking about it all day long with these Oasis maps. But teams have been obstinate. They've been sticking to the Sombras. Now it's gonna be Mistakes' time to shine. He's already working his way around here, taking the poke and prod. And well, Tavik on high, of course, just chucking rockets and trying to find a target here to do some AoE damage to.
I wish Tavik no ill will, but why this can be good is Mistakes can get on that high ground and he can hack Tavik if he's over the water, and he will drop like a rock into that ocean. But Tavik is playing a little bit more passively over landfall matter, as it were, and he gets 1 kill. They've traded out Winston's.
That was a nice direct rocket. Kelix, though, will get the rest, but both of them are brought back to life here. Both Winston's back in the fight. Very little time lost. Zupe going down, though, for Florida Mayhem is going to throw a wrench in things. Epicide not going to be pleased about that. That's all your heals, pretty much.
Now Tavik's in a little bit of trouble. He has absolutely no heals with him at 73%. He's just trying to come in and chunk down damage to help out the remaining members on the point. But now there is no one left alive. They will clean up the rest of that team. Striker, of course, forcing a 1v1 on Tracer. It's what he likes. It's what he's good at. And Boston will take first control here.
Now it's a question of whether or not they're going to be able to win their way back in here. Zupe dying so early on in that fight has set him behind in the ult war as well. So he needs his tanks to take some damage. Oh, there we go. Mako giving us a bit of a Donak impression there. Not too shabby.
In very first stage 1, Nako was probably the best player on this team. He was a standout DPS Zenyatta. He crushed it a lot. I think he opened a lot of eyes to how good he was on Zenyatta. We kind of lost in the mix when we talk about Boston because they got so many good players, but he can still absolutely output a ton of damage.
Notably, Striker comes to mind. Manatee on the edge of getting D-Max. Striker still alive. There we go. Here's a present. Guarantees the D-Mac in that case. And while Saya player is gone as well on this point, Manatee will eventually get run down by Gamsu, and Tavik decided to go and take a bath after all.
He is off of the edge there. Another team kill. These have been dominant fights from Boston Uprising. It has been really rough going. They've only killed Mistakes twice. Calyx has only fallen twice so far on Oasis. All those numbers seem to be doubled when you look at the Florida Mayhem deaths. It might be time to initiate with a barrier and try to take a fight, but they're not allowing this Fire of Mercy combo to get to the high ground. In fact, they've forced them off of it. Now we're on a McCree and Tracer.
I like it. Preemptive Valk. Not quite going to be finding that shot. So Mistakes is going to be moving his way through here on the edge. He's got that EMP, going to be able to get topped up as well. And well, now it's just a matter of outlasting. Finding the kill on Zebasai, you don't even need to hack this guy. He's already dead.
Trying to come in here. Striker's got another pulse bomb up. He's maybe looking for the wins, but no need as Mistakes is there around the corner to take him out. You never know if there's a safe escape anywhere around these corners because Mistakes can always be lurking. In fact, if anywhere he's going to be, it might be back towards that main path.
Well, there's the sound barrier getting thrown in here. Zebasai able to get back into this fight quick enough. Now, can he keep his teammates alive? Supe dropping dangerously low. Striker's on the hunt. He knows there's blood in the water. There's a chance here to ruin it for Florida. And sure enough, he'll find Supe. Maniton's out of it as well. Saya player is just a matter of time. There's not going to be enough straight heals there to keep him in it. And Zebasai now going to do the best that he can to stay. And it's not happening. Striker right now, he's on a tear.
This was the Boston team we expected to show up all day today. They saved their best for last, and Boston will win Oasis and by proxy the series over the Florida Mayhem. What a set.
Yet again, it has gone the distance, and it is the team, well, in this case, favored. I don't know, I had Philly winning this morning as well, but it will be Boston coming through here. 3-2 versus the Florida Mayhem. Florida Mayhem, they already came into it with their excuses ready in terms of like, oh, we're just going to put this guy in and test it out, feel things out. Well, yeah. You definitely got a lot of tape here to work with.
They looked good again, but just falling a little bit short, and the parity in this league is ridiculous. It's really hard to make predictions on who's going to win when you've got teams that you thought were dominant, like New York and London and Seoul, all waffling a little bit, and then you've got teams on the come up. Any given day, one of these teams can beat another, but for more on that, let's go to the desk.
Thank you so much, Semler and Hex. This league is getting tighter and tighter. The Mayhem fall, but they force it to a Game 5 against a tough Boston team. A little bit later, we're going to be breaking down the top 5 plays of the entire week, but right now we got to jump in with Game 3. We got Bren, we've got Crumbs, we've got Nepal to talk about. Let's go to our first map here in the final 3. We saw it in the second half. Started off pretty darn strong for Striker and the boys, but the Mayhem in Saya player brought Nepal back.
Yeah, absolutely. Off those big plays, those big dinks, as we were saying, you know, with the headshots from the McCree gameplay. You know, I was a real big fan of Saya player's performance overall, I guess, across this series. I mean, he was so close to essentially salvaging this game for Florida Mayhem. And it's a little bit heartbreaking when you come so close. You know, Florida Mayhem, we've been following this team, you know, and they've been working on their issues. They've been bringing in new players, and they just came this close from almost, you know, dethroning a team that recently beat New York itself.
Well, starting in control is always a great spot when your McCree player is so talented, but when it came down to Junkertown, this is where I think Boston really got thrown off guard, because you don't usually get to see Manatee have a really great game, and he was doing this today. He was actually on fire when it came to the Roadhog hooks, when it came to positioning with his team, and I think Boston just got caught off by surprise. You don't really can account for Roadhog when he's popping up, when he's hitting hooks that you don't expect. It's an intangible factor.
Manitou was on so many streaks on Junkertown, a big key to their push on the attack, and more impressively for me, Florida held them on defense. They stopped Boston short of that point C, and they forced a Game 5. When it came to Game 5, the first round, pretty close. The second round, a blowout. Let's get right into it of what we saw, because I was impressed. Once again, if I have a Saya player on this lineup, I want him playing McCree, right?
Yeah, he's a huge addition. I mean, the guy, again, he seems to perform best when he's on that one roll on the McCree, when he can really start aiming. But again, it was, I mean, Striker, this is why I really do put this guy up there as one of the best tracers, if not the best tracer in the league. You know, it's just, you can't really attest to it, because, you know, as much as you are a good McCree player, when you are a top tier tracer, you know how to bait out the flashbang. You know how to work your way around the team such that you're going to get the better of them.
Got to get those cooldowns out of the game. And honestly, the Farah pick It just did not work for Florida. Tvik not doing enough damage. The whole comp relied on it early on the second stage for Gardens. They didn't get the damage. They don't get the win. Florida handed another match loss. Boston now improves, though, to 4-0. And we have to crown our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Who are we going with today, Crumbs?
We are going with Node, actually, the Diva player. And he had a lot of self-destructs that were very impressive.
This is my favorite.
This is, I mean, the angle is legitimately perfect. It is on the corner of both sides of the wall. Another one of those. But what I liked about his play today was that he was peeling a lot and he was very consistent in what he was doing. He wasn't really joining the team when any individuals were going for these Hail Mary plays, such as what we saw from Saya player with the McCree, or sometimes we'd see other ones going for individuals. No, keeping the team together.
Note our player of the match in a week that had seven game fives. Note in Boston come up clutch twice this week. Let's talk about some of the best matches we've seen. Speaking of those 7, what VODs does everyone need to go back and watch? If you missed the games this week, what is the best of the best?
If you have not seen the Boston Uprising versus New York Excel game, close the stream off now, get on the VODs and rewatch. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care if you've been watching Overwatch all day, because that match was honestly so good. We really just saw the best Overwatch we've seen in quite some time from that one.
What about you, Crumbs?
I mean, it's not going to live up to that one. That was literally the #1 team, but I like to see Valiant versus Dallas. And I'm not going to give you the map score, but we get to see Valiant with Bunny, and that looked really crisp, whereas Dallas now had OGE, and the Dallas that we saw before is definitely not the one that has OGE, so it's a very exciting team.
Dallas coming in stronger than ever. Those are some great VODs to go watch. You can catch them all on OverwatchLeague.com. For now, though, we're going to close out the show with a new segment. This is our top 5s. Going back to my roots with this one. Let's see if I can nail it live. We're kicking things off here at number 5 with Arc. After reviving Pine, pulls out the Battle Mercy. The pistol picks up the kill on Boink, and he chases down Linkser as NYXL edge out the Houston Outlaws. Speaking of Houston, it was a rough week for Game 5's Neptuno here, getting rid of the Zenyatta, throws him in the hole, and then takes out his buddy on Mercy with some nicely placed shots. Survives the Diva Bomb, gets back on the map. Fissure, same map, different play, gets behind enemy lines. A huge shatter sets up the Gladiators as they upset the Dynasty. But moving into the top 2, this is my favorite. Snillo, the stick, the kill on Lucio, the finish on the Monkey, a casual 4K as they bring in the youngster from Sweden to clutch up against the Spitfire. But the #1 play of the week this time around here, Stage 3, Week 2. It's a map they lost, but Sinatra's performance on Doomfist in the final moments, insane stuff, drops down the bomb, picks everyone off, keeps shock in this game. I'm out of breath, but that was awesome. Top 5 plays coming your way. Let me know on Twitter. Use the hashtag top5. Use the hashtag OWL2018. There it is. OWL 2018. And of course, tag me, MLG Puckett. For now, though, we got to talk about next week. I'm not here. Golden Boy's in, and these are the games coming your way. We're going to see the Battle of LA on April 18th. Gladiators versus Valiant. Always a fun one.
A rematch of Stage 2 finals. Anybody on Thursday the 19th, you got Philly versus New York. That is the pinnacle of what we've got to offer, really.
Yeah, I mean, we got some great games coming up straight away, like across the board, fantastic stuff. But I got to say, Puckett, as well, I'm impressed by your lung capacity, lad. That was impressive. You were keeping that going for some time.
He's OG. He's been doing
practicing for 15 years, my friend. I keep it going. Let's close out the show with a big thanks to everyone who watched on Twitch.tv. Remember, the All Access Pass is free throughout Stage 3. And at the end of tonight, we got our buddy from the Florida Mayhem, Zappis, is going to be answering all of your questions. Ask him about the beard. How long is it going to be? Zappis and the Mayhem looking stronger. Will they get their win next week? We'll find out then. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Survival of the fittest. I've reached the objective.
Hello, I'm Sabis from Florida Mayhem, and I'm here to answer your question from the Twitch Overwatch League All Access Pass. So, first one, Bruce Bender 99 asks, what ultimate combo do you think is the best to pull off in a game? I really like the Zarya combos. Probably my favorite one is Zarya plus Hanzo. CJ Muff asks, who is your favorite hero to play as? I really like to play Mei, even though she is kind of off meta at the moment, but I really enjoyed playing her back when you could play her in a competitive environment. Lenzon1 asks, what is your player number and why did you choose it? My player number is 19, and it is the birthday of my girlfriend, so that's why I picked it. Reptile9 Overwatch asks, what advice can you give to a path to become a pro player? It is a tough path. You need a lot of things to go right with you, but most important thing is to keep playing to improve, and always just every time you play, even though it's quick play, competitive, whatever it is, just like focus on things that you did wrong and what you can do better, and that'll get you far. Rick B asks, do you ever get nervous when walking out? I have never walked out, so again, I guess it's gonna be fun. A Wild Yummy Enters asks, what is my go-to snack? I like bananas and 100 grams. They're really good. They remind me of chocolate in Finland. UFOs Ate My Cat asks, behind the scenes, teams work to bond through activities or doing things together. Have you done anything together since the arrival of Saya Awesome Guy and Ryder? We only had 8 birthday gate with Ryder. We have only been with Saya and Awesome Guy for like 2 weeks, so we didn't have that much time, but we'll definitely do something in the future. Angel Darkhild asks, how fun was it to sit in the crowd that night in your disguise waiting for the Mayhem match? It was pretty exciting. That was actually the day I actually arrived to the arena, and I had been awake for like 30 hours, so I was kind of like mixed feelings, but it was really exciting and fun. Catchphrase 45 asks, what's your favorite non-standard game mode to play? My favorite game mode outside of competitive is deathmatch. I play it like every day, so I really like it. Just go around and shoot stuff. Merciful Saver asks, what is it like being on stage while playing? It is like, for me personally, it's more like I just focus on the game. I don't really, it's obviously a different environment, but I just try to focus on the game. Obviously, it's a lot colder because there's actually a huge AC going on at the stage. But other than that, I just focus on myself and just try to perform as good as possible. Peruls asks, if you had one thing in life to pursue besides esports, what would it be and why? I would probably finish my degree in law and do something with it. I don't know what. We'll see. Comet asks, pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? Yay. Pineapple belongs in pizza. What? I'm getting mixed feelings around here. Figa Telux asks, who's my favorite bad guy in the Overwatch lore? I think it's Doomfist, but it's because of his game style and kit. It's fun to fist people in the game. Tsaku007 asks, sometimes I get a bit nervous. How do you stay calm in a heated up team fight and stay on focus? I mean, everyone is kind of different, but for me, it helps when I chew, like chewing gum in my games. I don't know why, but doing something with my mouth and just like focusing on the game, I don't know why, but it helps for me. Maybe you can try that. Hawaiian76 asks, how was your experience in America been since coming over from Finland? It's been really nice. I really enjoy it here. The weather has been really warm, so that's kind of plus. It's really dark and cold in Finland. Also, everyone is super friendly here, and it's been really awesome playing with the guys and the staff here, and everything has been super great. Generic Space Marine asks, what to you is the best and worst part about being a pro player? I think the best part is like just playing the game, doing this as a living. It's really exciting because it used to be a hobby to me. Then just getting the opportunity to play as a professional, it's life-changing. The worst thing is for me to being away from home, back from Finland. Even though I like it here, it's always like it's a different environment and it's tough to leave your friends and family behind. Caliburs asks, as a beard enthusiast like yourself, who has the best beard in Overwatch League? It has to be Sebo. It's so massive. It's like full on the sides and everything. It's perfect. I envy him. Pakul BD asks, what hobbies do you enjoy outside of video games? I try to work out outside of gaming, like doing running and just going out to the gym, just trying to keep myself in shape because it helps on gaming as well. Other than that, I don't know. I just play video games. Leolisk asks, what is the meaning of life? To play Overwatch. Or 42. Pick your answer. Titanium Platypus 8 asks, this is the last question. What is your favorite animal? It has to be dog. Dogs are nice. They're always so friendly and caring. And they're always there for you. They're so nice. I think that's it. Hello. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.